If you would like to see more, please consider checking out my website where I sell my handmade paints and also some artwork and prints. I will leave a link to my website down in the description bar below. This is a website that I set up to showcase my artwork and sell a few things. You can also view my gallery on there too. Alternatively, you can also check me out on Patreon, where you can get a few extra bits, including monthly dot card rewards of my handmade watercolours and commercial brands. Again, I will leave the link down in the description bar below if you would like to consider checking that out. Hi everyone and welcome back. I hope you've all had a good week. I felt unhappy with one of the episodes and made the decision to take a second look at the pigment. So we're going to be taking a closer look at New Gamboge Modern. This pigment is normally made with PY153. So we're going to look at the different sources of the pigment, so different brands. We're also going to look at how they mix and also some new modern alternatives to the pigment. Traditionally, New Gamboge used to be made from tree sap or urine of cattle that were fed only on a diet of mango leaves. The traditional pigment was very fugitive, and as well the latter was also very cruel and inhumane. This colour appears to keep running into bad luck, as recently the pigment PY153 was discontinued in manufacturing. Some companies did stockpile this pigment, and they still have some available in their stores, and they produce watercolours made from it. Others have run out of pigment and have sourced new pigments to make New Gamboge from. So a little bit now about this pigment. PY153 is chemically known as Nicodioxene Yellow. It's a very bright, warm orangey yellow, which is also light fast, which is why it's also favoured among artists. Unlike the original traditional version, this paint shouldn't fade. This pigment is also quite transparent, which is why it is quite often favoured over the very opaque cadmium yellows. Sometimes New Gamboge is sold under a different name, sometimes some companies call it Indian Yellow. To really look into this pigment, I'm going to be painting out a variety of paints here. Some of these are the genuine article PY153, others are hues or alternatives. I'm also going to be doing some colour mixing, and we'll take a look at those too. Part of the testing, I'm painting out concentrated colour at the top of the square and then blending it out with clear water. This allows us to see how the paint flows and behaves, and it will also show if there's any problems with the paint, if it's going to granulate, or if any hard edges or lines happen. It will also show if it's prone to cauliflowering. I'm painting over a black line too. This will help show whether or not the pigment is opaque or transparent or somewhere in between. It did take quite a bit of time to revisit this episode because I spent quite a long time collecting all the different samples of PY153 and looking at their alternatives. So now the paint has all dried, so we can take a closer look at them and see what they look like all fully dry. So we're going to start off first with the paints containing genuine New Gamboge PY153, which are on the top row. So from left to right we have New Gamboge from Winsor & Newton. Then next to that we have Indian Yellow from Winsor & Newton. Then it's New Gamboge from Lucas, followed by Lucas's Indian Yellow. Then we have Indian Yellow from De La Rowney. Next to that one we have New Gamboge Hue from De La Rowney's student range. On the end there we have Sennelier Yellow Deep from Sennelier. And then we have two on the bottom row which also contain the genuine pigment. The bottom left is Jackson's Indian Yellow, and then next to that is a handmade one, so the Paint Co's Indian Yellow. Continuing on the bottom row we have some colours and pigments that I chose that I felt were good alternatives to this pigment. So third one in from the left we have Sennelier Yellow Deep by Sennelier. Then we have Indian Yellow Brown Lake from Old Holland. Then we have Scheveningen Yellow Deep from Old Holland. Then we have Sunflower Yellow, which is handmade by myself. And then on the end there we have Cadmium Yellow Hue, which is by Winsor & Newton but from their common range, which is their student range. None of them are labelled as hues from the bottom row, but I felt they were really closer to the original pigment. So as you can see from the dried swatches, they're all fairly similar to one another. Indian Yellows in general tend to be on the warmer, more orange side than New Gamboge, so that's something to keep in mind. I think there are two looking at this that kind of stand out, and that would be the De La Rowney's New Gamboge Hue and the Indian Yellow Brown Lake from Old Holland. The Sennelier Yellow Light on the top right there also stands out a little bit because that and the New Gamboge Hue are both a little bit cooler than the rest of the paints here. The De La Rowney colour, even though it's the traditional PY153, is actually quite opaque, and the paint itself was quite weak tinting. I had to use quite a lot of paint to get a decent colour on the page. There were no issues with the Sennelier Yellow Light. A real surprise looking at them was the common paint of Cadmium Yellow Hue. It was really close to that original PY153 colour, and it's actually quite a nice yellow. I was quite surprised considering it's a student grade paint. With the exception of the De La Rowney Hue, I would say all the paints here are really nice paints, and they're all really nice yellows. However, it's one thing to comment on how they look when they're swatched out like this, but it can be a completely different ballgame in colour mixing. So here we are, here are all the colours that I have done with colour mixing. I mixed each of the yellows with the following pigments. So in the top left square it's going to be cadmium red made with PR108. Next to that on the top row is going to be perylene red, PR178. On the middle box on the left is going to be ultramarine blue, PB29. On the right is going to be phthalo blue, PB16. Then bottom left is going to be dioxazine violet, PB23. And then on the bottom right is going to be warm sepia, which is a convenience mixed paint. I tried to be as consistent as possible when mixing all the colours, just so that it was a fair test. Obviously there may be some discrepancies due to human error. Again, looking at all of these, they're all quite similar. There's not really any standouts that are really different. They all mix how you would expect them to mix. When mixed with red, you get some really nice bright warm oranges. And then when you get mixed with blues, you get a range of greens. And then obviously you get neutrals when you mix it with the violet. And then some various shades of brown and yellow when you mix it with the warm sepia. Same as before, both the Daler-Rowney New Gamboge Hue and the Sennelier Yellow Light have made slightly cooler mixes because they are slightly cooler paints. And as well, the Daler-Rowney Hue also made very weak mixes compared to the other paints. I had to use a lot of that paint from the Daler-Rowney student range. I will do scans of both the mixing page and the swatch page up on my Patreon page, which you can gain access to from as little as $1 a month. I will leave a link down to that in the description bar, along with all the paints and other materials that I use in this video. Also, if you're curious about what the original episode of this pigment was like, I will link that up in the iCards for you to go view. So now I have quite a collection of PY153 from various brands. Some of these brands are now discontinued and you can no longer get them, but some are still available. However, the whole point of this episode was to see if there are any alternatives to the pigment. And you can definitely tell from the bottom row that there are definitely some really good alternatives to this pigment. Personally, I would say the closest would be the Old Holland's Scheveningen Yellow Deep made with PY83. That seems to do a really good job in matching the original PY153 in terms of mixing. So here's a closer look at them now, and you can see and read all of their pigment names and the names of the paint a little bit better. So let me know down in the comments which is your favourite, and what do you think about PY153? Is it a colour that you have a lot of love for, or do you not really care about it? Personally, my favourite is the Jackson's Indian Yellow. For me, it was the cleanest, brightest, and I felt it just painted a little bit nicer than some of the other ones. However, they're all really nice paints. I wouldn't say there's any that are really bad. So I really hope you enjoyed this bonus episode of Pigment Playtime. Make sure you give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and let me know your thoughts down in the comments. So thank you guys so much for taking the time to watch this. Please subscribe and check out some other videos, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care everybody, and bye bye.